In this video, you'll learn how to make a bracelet with Potter USA's Marquee FSS die, as well as a pattern plate and the Potter USA Quick Form Press. I've already prepared some copper by roller printing it with a pattern plate, and this is the FSS die I'm going to use. FSS stands for Fast Stamping System, and it's a blanking die that doesn't leave a tab. You can use a very wide range of sheet metal gauges, and it works really fast. So here, all I have to do is insert my strip of metal into the die, and then raise the lower platen on the press, apply pressure, and it cuts the metal right out. As soon as you hear the pop, you can just slide your metal forward and continue cutting. If you want to make the most use out of your metal, you can go ahead and pre-measure and mark with like a Sharpie on the copper strip where to start and stop in the die. I didn't do that for this example, so I'm just kind of guesstimating where to start and stop. But as you can see, it cuts things really quickly. Here's my skeleton, and then we'll take a look at my blanks. And here are my blanks, no tab to cut off, they're ready to go. The FSS works so well, there's hardly any burr left on the back, so I'm ready to just go straight to soldering. I've prepared these by adding some paste flux on each end, and then I'm going to place solder on one end of each piece so I can solder these all together in a strip. Here I'm just heating until the flux turns clear and glassy. And then I'm gonna be a little lazy with my soldering, and I'm gonna stick feed. I just need kind of a small blob on each end of each one of these shapes, just so that I can tack it to the shape next to it when I lay them all out in a strip. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this on each one of these pieces, and then I'll be ready to join them. I'm kind of doing it in a sweat solder method. All right, so I pickled and cleaned these in between. Depending on how you work, you might not need to do that, but I went ahead and did it. So they're clean. I'm adding flux at each seam, and then I'm just slightly overlapping these at each end, and then I'll just reheat it until the solder joins the two pieces at each join. Okay, so I'm just overall getting the piece hot, and then I'll kind of focus on just these two pieces on the end here, and then once they're soldered together, I'll move down and work out the next join and just kind of make my way down this bracelet blank. And I'm just heating until I see that flash of silver along the edge of the join. Okay, so I'm going to do that to each one of my joins, and then I'm done with my blank. I'm going to flip it over here and just make sure that the solder has flowed all the way through the seam, because when I bend this, I don't want any parts sticking up or anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and reheat each one of these areas until I see that flash of silver come all the way to the tip of each marquee shape, and I know that the solder has come all the way through that sweat joint. And then once I'm done soldering, I'll clean and pickle, and then I'm ready to form. So there's lots of different ways you could form this. I'm going to go ahead and use the Potter USA Quick Form Press with an anti-clastic former, so I just get a little anti-clastic shape out of this bracelet. And as you can see, there's urethane that works with an anti-clastic former, and you just kind of work your way through the bracelet, bending it a little bit at a time. And before you know it, you have a finished anti-clastic bracelet. The urethane's very gentle on the texture, so you don't have to worry about marring your roller printing or anything like that. Okay, so there is my finished bracelet. I've added a patina and rubbed a little polishing cloth on it, and that's my bracelet. Super quick. It's a lot faster with the FSS system. I highly recommend you try it out. Check potterusa.com for all the details.